Hello and welcome to Double Feature Duel. My name is Sid Rotten, and we're going to be taking a look at two films from the Godzilla franchise. Godzilla Strikes Again from 1955 and The Return of Godzilla from 1984. It's funny. Godzilla Strikes Again and The Return of Godzilla have so much in common, but they're so uniquely different in their own rights. These are both films that come from first-time head directors in this series. Moto Yoshi Oda had worked in effects-heavy productions before. In 1954, he had worked on an Invisible Man rendition called The Ghost Man, but nothing in the tokusatsu genre. However, Koji Hashimoto was no stranger. While not a full-fledged director in the series, Hashimoto worked as an assistant director on Godzilla productions like King Kong vs. Godzilla in '62, Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster in '64, Invasion of the Astro Monster in 1965, and All Monsters Attack in 1969. And 1984's The Return of Godzilla was his turn to take the reins. Both of these films act as a sequel to the 1954 original. However, Hashimoto has gone the David Gordon Green route and made his sequel 30 years later, totally ignoring the other sequels in the series, including Moto Yoshi Oda's Godzilla Raids Again, and all of the films in the franchise where Hashimoto had cut his teeth. Both movies don't specifically address the death of Godzilla from the first film. Instead, it's loosely implied that this is another Godzilla. In Godzilla Strikes Again, or Godzilla Raids Again, we are introduced to a thinner, more agile Godzilla, a change made less as an extension to the lore, but more of a comfort for the stunt worker inside of the suit. Changes were made to make a Godzilla costume that would be lighter and easier for the actor to move inside. And when you watch this movie, you can see the changes in Godzilla's movements. In The Return of Godzilla, we're introduced to a larger Godzilla who has a sinister snarl and stands over 20 meters taller than the 1954 version. Another change was made that was less of a storyline development and more of an artistic change. Since 1954, the usage of elevators grew, making high-rises larger and larger. Thus, Godzilla had to change in order to meet the new gigantic towers that scrape the Tokyo skyline. Both of these gigantic lizard death gods are vicious, and they bring a lot more oomph to their blows. I actually think that Oda's Godzilla turned out to be more aggressive and destructive. Godzilla Raids Again, or Godzilla Strikes Again, had some big kaiju-sized shoes to fill with their sequel that only dropped a year after the original. It wasn't afforded the luxury of having an established fan base like Hashimoto did. Instead, Oda intended to carry the carnage from the first movie into this second, adding Anguirus as his first kaiju foe. This inclusion made for a first giant monster battle in the franchise and set the standard going forward. The Return of Godzilla has a fan base and pageantry of a 30-year legacy behind it. However, I believe that Koji Hashimoto's decision to exclude the canon that had been set previously and keeping the story relatively simple didn't help. In fact, the entire ending of Hashimoto's film is more impactful when the viewers reflect on the history that these Godzilla films had written before. It seems like omitting these films was kind of a misstep. The film's also lacking a bit of chaos amid the destruction. Sure, Godzilla destroying Tokyo looks great. The miniatures are extremely detailed, and the picture is fantastic. Godzilla looks frightening. Maybe the most frightening he ever has, aside from his eyes, of course. But once he's cooking, that's about it. There's nothing much more to the story. So which Godzilla is going to come out on top and call themselves the king of the monsters? I'm going to have to go with Oda's 1955 sequel, Godzilla Raids Again. It doesn't look as pretty, and sometimes it's just downright cheap, but damn if Oda didn't understand how to bring the intensity with his picture. But, I mean, that's just RottenPop's opinion here. What do you think about it? Which Godzilla movie do you think was more superior? Godzilla Strikes Again, Godzilla Raids Again, or The Return of Godzilla from '84? Or maybe even Godzilla 1985. Or maybe you didn't like any of these movies and you liked King of the Monster better. Or maybe you liked the new Godzilla vs. Kong. No matter what you like, just go ahead and let me know down in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe to this channel. Hit the little bell icon if you want to get any sort of notifications when I'm putting up my new stuff. And yeah, keep watching old movies. Later.